ॐ ज्ञानातिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलान् श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललित श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वतीदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So, Hare Krishna everyone. So we are in the Canto 4, chapter 28. We'll continue from part where we were, I think, verse number 18. I think we'll continue from there. I'll share the screen. Would like to read? And do it now. Okay. So from verse number 17. Yeah. So if someone would like to read, they can do it. Maybe till verse number 23 or 27. Let's go till 27. Any volunteers?
Okay, Prabhuji, I volunteer.
Okay, from 17 to 27. Yeah. And you can start with Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 3 times and then begin reading only the
Until
points.
verse 27, huh?
27.
Yeah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, text 18. King Puranjana was anxiously thinking, alas, my wife is encumbered by so many children. When I pass from this body, how will she be able to maintain all these family members? Alas, she will be greatly harassed by thoughts of family maintenance. King Puranjana then began to think of his past dealings with his wife. He recalled that his wife would not take her dinner until he had finished his, that she would not take her bath until he had finished his, and that she was always very much attached to him, so much so that if he would sometimes become angry and chastise her, she would simply remain silent and tolerate his behavior. King Puranjana continued thinking how, when he was in a state of bewilderment, his wife would give him good counsel, and how she would become aggrieved when he was away from home. Although she was the mother of so many sons and heroes, the king still feared that she would not be able to maintain the responsibility of household affairs. King Puranjana continued worrying, after I pass from this world, how will my sons and daughters, who are now fully dependent on me, live and continue their lives? Their position will be similar to that of passengers aboard a ship as shipwrecked in the midst of the ocean. Although King Puranjana should not have lamented over the fate of his wife and children, he nonetheless did so due to his miserly intelligence. In the meantime, Yavana Raja, whose name was Fear itself, immediately drew near to arrest him. When the Yavanas were taking King Puranjana away to their place, binding him like an animal, the king's followers became greatly aggrieved. While they lamented, they were forced to go along with him. The serpent, who had already been arrested by the soldiers of Yavanraj and was out of the city, began to follow his master along with the others. As soon as they all left the city, it was immediately dismantled and smashed to dust. When King Puranjana was being dragged with great force by the powerful Yavana out of his gross ignorance, he still could not remember his friend and well-wisher, the Super Soul. The unkind king Puranjana had killed many animals in various sacrifices. Now, taking advantage of this opportunity, all these animals began to pierce him with their horns. It was as though he were being cut to pieces by axes. Due to his contaminated association with women, a living entity like King Puranjana eternally suffers all the pangs of material existence and remains in the dark region of material life, bereft of all remembrance for many, many years.
We cannot hear you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. We can't hear you.
I was asking how was it while reading this part of the chapter? No, you are on mute in case you're talking. Yeah. Hare Krishna, Chintamani Mataji. Okay, let's begin. And then, yeah, we'll be happy to hear the views from everyone for this particular chapter. Is very, very nice and very reflective if one takes it. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritcham Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Jayamudhirayet Ashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devakinandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. We all are struggling just like Puranjan. That's the reason why Narad Muni is narrating this wonderful pastime story. Yeah, I don't know how can we call it, but more enlightening if we can really take it serious. This is what was the story spoken by Narad Muni to King Prachina Parishat. And then through this example of yeah, the king called Puranjan, Narad Muni is narrating everything like how a jiva is actually getting entangled and yeah, and what kind of enemies which yeah, we may think there I have some A, B or C enemies, but we don't know these enemies. That's why we are living peacefully, happily. We are able to sleep well. We are able to engage ourselves. Yeah, like a kama maya. So busy with satisfying our desires. But what is the consequences? And in the form of this allegorical story, Narad Muni is saying one may do that, But then what happens? There is this Prajvara. Yeah, the old age will come, Chara, Kalakanya. Yeah, and yeah, the disease and old age are quite, yeah, um, they get quite serious in dealing with the jiva, and they don't wait. mm. Time and tide doesn't wait. Yeah, so this Prajvara and Kalakanya, they are quite serious. Yeah, sent by the death personified Yamaraj. So they come and they get into the business, and when they get into the business, this they come with the soldiers, and attack, and this causes the jiva quite miserable. He'll think, oh, he gets into that, oh, what is going to happen? I'm approaching my last phase of my life. Uh, Anta, what do you call Antya Leela? This last phase of our life, we always pray that may it be so smooth, so simple that I die as if like I'm sleeping and I don't notice what happens or no one. So it should be as simple as that. Uh, so in this chapter, or even yeah, this chapter, next chapter, we see what should we do so that we can um, um not be so much worried of our last phase of our life. So the attack by Prajvaras and Kalakanya is quite disturbing scene, right? No one wants this kind of tortures. Everyone is so much attached. Now I'm thinking, hey, after all, after my studies, after all my education completed, then I'm getting a job. I have kids. I have a great life to enjoy. Uh, the and Yeah, it's only this old age is the one that is going to mess up my plans. Otherwise I have great plans. I'm going to accumulate a lot of wealth, and this wealth is going to serve me. Yeah, and I want to make best of it. So after all, why otherwise will I earn day and night and accumulate so much wealth? But in the old age, at the time of death, the condition is pretty bad. And when we Yeah, we are not blind. To be honest, we are not blind that we don't know what is going to happen. We can see how others who are passing away, yeah, they are going through a very, very turbulent state when they are leaving the body. When they are dying, it's not going to be quite simple. It is very, very dramatic and very traumatic. And But then we again get busy, and this is also one of the question when Yudhishthir Maharaj was asked by the yakshas. Yaksha was asking questions, and one of the question is, what is the most amazing thing? And then Yudhishthir Maharaj says the most amazing thing is that a person is continuing to enjoy in spite he sees that everyone is dying, and then he thinks, hey, maybe I might survive. uh, just like in the slaughterhouse, a goat is happily eating while the other goat is killed. It's just thinking, oh, let me enjoy. So, so King Puranjan, then he was thinking, oh, no, no, no. I thought I can mitigate this old age, I can mitigate this disease, but I think the science is not yet developed that I can become immortal. Hmm? Maybe it may be in 100 years, maybe 200 years. There are definitely plans by those materialists who are trying very hard to find that elixir, the ambrosia, so that I can Mm, maybe a chance. I may let me pay as much as possible to the physician and try to prolong my life. But I think no, I have to give up that spirit because uh, this Kala Kanya is approaching with all her army soldiers. So King Puranjan, who was overly attached to his family and conception of Mama Eti, and Mamata is also coming from there, where there is so much sales of attachment, and because he was overly attracted to his wife, he was already quite poverty stricken. At the time of separation, he became very sorrow. So then what happened after that? Lokantaram Gatavati Mai Anatha Kutumbini. This is what king is thinking. Alas, my wife is encumbered by so many children. When I pass from this body, how will she be able to maintain all these family members? And then he's saying, Vatishyate katam tva esha balakan anusochati. So he's just thinking, oh, anxiously, not just, hey, what should I do now? But he creates a lot of anxiety. And Prabhupada writes in the purport very clearly that all these thoughts of one's wife indicate that the king was overly engrossed with the thoughts of women. When the king is thinking, what happens to my wife? Hmm? And what happens to my children? Will she be able to take care? This is the um, compassion. This is compassion of the husband towards the wife. Oh, can she maintain? I know she never went out of the house. I know that she can't do these things. She can't do that thing. So can she really manage now when I'm not there? So this is kind of um, coming. And then Prabhupada writes, generally a chaste woman becomes very obedient wife. This causes a husband to become attached to his wife, and consequently he thinks of his wife very much at the time of death. So what is happening? This love and affection between the spouse can also become an obstacle. So we may think that, oh, no, 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 after all, everything should be loving relationship. And in this loving relationship, there is this, yeah, the bondage. Definitely. Otherwise, yeah, everyone is liberated or everyone is detached. But isn't it grihastha life is about attachment? But we should understand it shouldn't be based on material attachment. It should be based on spiritual attachment. What does that mean? That means that one should appreciate the spouse as the gift of the Lord, children as the gift of the Lord. Everything that is arranged in one's life he should think whether it is a thing or a person or people. Everyone should be considered as the gift of the Lord, which means the Lord has entrusted his valuable in our hands. So we should understand the we should build the spiritual attachment. Otherwise, what can happen is this, yeah, if we are just at a platform of material understanding and we build, the relationship is based on take and take, not give and give. And this can cause more bondage, more disturbance. And then this, yeah, one is attached. Yeah, when wife is very obedient or husband is very obedient, then automatic there is a reciprocation. Yeah, isn't it? The Lord is personal, the people are personal. So Lord is reciprocating, the people also reciprocate naturally. That is nice. And then this creates a bondage. It's all nice. Then a chaste woman, out of her obedience, she is uh, um, winning her partner's heart. And when the partner is yeah, coming to the last phase, when he's going to die, uh, he is thinking very much about her or him. He thinks of his wife very much at time of death. This is a very dangerous situation, Prabhupada writes, as is evident from the life of King Puranjan. If one thinks of his wife instead of Krishna at the time of death, he will certainly not return home back to Godhead, but will be forced to accept the body of a woman and thus begin another chapter of material life. So we should be very careful. This comes to a point that what is the balance? Yeah. So on one side, it's not just only the duty, it's not only responsibility. After all, we are not uh, uh, duty driven, but we also we cannot be like a robots. Just Manu Samhita, so and so rule is telling to lead this kind of life or that kind of activities. Let's do it as it is. No, there is also this layer of concern, care, emotion, the psychic dimension, and how to handle it. We have to exercise balance. If we are not there, then there is a chance that we may have to go through the cycle of birth and death. न मयि अनासिते भुक्ते नास्नाति स्नाति मत परा मयि रुष्टे सुसंत्रस्त भर्तिस्ते यत वाग भयात. So then King is thinking, he began to think of his past dealings with his wife. He recalled that his wife would not take her dinner until he has finished his, and that she would not take her bath until he has finished. And that, so the king is saying um, how loving is my wife, that she is giving great regard to me, that she would not take her bath until he had finished and doesn't eat until he finishes, and that she was always very much attached to him, so much so that if he would sometimes become angry and chastise her, she would simply remain silent and tolerate his misbehavior. Now, who in the world is going to tolerate misbehavior? But my wife, she is tolerating. I am such a hopeless person. I am such a useless person. But see, my wife, she is very, very obedient, remains silent, and tolerates whatever I am doing. So she is really great. Yeah, she is really great. And then um, in this verse, I think Prabhupada writes, a wife is always supposed to be submissive to her husband. Submission, mild behavior, and subservience are qualities of a wife which make a husband very thoughtful of her. So wife, yeah, we can also see here the qualities of a good wife is to be submissive, to be gentle in behavior, and to be subservience, means to be subordinate and engage in service. Are the qualities that Prabhupada mentions, which are very nice. With that, the wife is able to purchase the husband's heart. Of course, it all depends how good is the husband. It also depends whether he is reciprocative. It also depends whether he is thankful, whether, yeah, there are so many other qualities that are needed also from the husband. But given a normal case, a wife can easily win over the husband if she has these wonderful qualities: submissiveness, gentle behavior, subservience, and so this is very, very important. Uh, of course, when we see from a Vedic culture, we can see that how subservience is yeah, seen in the last 50 years back. If you see how the previous generations were exercising this, and they were able to command the home affairs, so that that one, though it is said husband is the master of the, what is it called, head of the family, but actually with the great qualities, the wife is actually the head of the home affairs. So the husband is consulting her. Why? Because he sees that, oh, she is very submissive, very gentle, and as well as yeah, supportive. So for family life, it is very good for a husband to be attached to his wife, but it is not very good for spiritual advancement. In this regard, in the fourth, I think, yeah, in the third canto, 23rd chapter, there is very nice description about Devahuti and Kardama Muni, where after Swayambhuva Manu comes and asks Kardama Muni to marry his daughter, and after marriage, yeah, so Kardama Muni and Devahuti, when they were living together, Devahuti had shown a very inspiring character. It is said, uh, Vishrambena Atma Saucha, Sauchena, Gauravena Damena Cha. So, Vishrambena and Gauravena, Prabhupada highlights in that, he says that Vishrambena means intimacy. It's not like, hey, I don't care about you. No, intimacy means to really understand and see what are the needs and to really provide them. And Gauravena means great reverence. So it is very important that though intimacy is there, but uh, there is a definite need of uh, offering respect. Mm. The husband is very intimate friend, therefore the wife must render service just like an intimate friend. At the same time, she must understand that the husband is superior in position and thus she must offer him all respect. So there is no compromise in respect, though there is intimacy, and even there is tradition, right? Still, that if someone, the wife doesn't call husband by name. Uh, Sometimes we see in the Western world where we see, okay, a teacher is called by name, the principal is also called by name. Of course, a Herr or a Frau, yeah, is a symbol of respect. But actually, if you see from a Gurukul, or from the Vedic, no, one doesn't call by name because calling by name is not regarded as uh, respect. Rather, one is addressed as Upadhyaya, one is addressed as Acharya. uh, so through that, one is addressed so that the right um, respect can be offered. So the wife doesn't call the husband by name. Calling by name is usually um, not normal. So, a man's psychology and women's psychology are different as constituted by bodily frame. A man always wants to be superior to his wife, and a woman, as bodily constituted, is naturally inferior to her husband. Thus, the natural instinct is that the husband wants to post himself as superior to the wife, and this must be observed. Prabhupada writes in that purport, third canto, 23rd chapter. To show the that how Devahuti has served with all this Shushruta. Shushruta means to render service. Vishrambane Atma Sauchena Gauravena Damena Cha. Damena is very important, self-control, control of senses. So everyone is individual. Yeah, man is individual. At the same time, woman is also individual. A woman also wants to lead a free life. A man also want to lead a free life, but actually by leading a free life, one is entangling more and causing oneself to appear into the cycle of birth and death again and again. So it is very important to exercise sense control, damenacha, not only for wife, also for husband, which means for everyone, so that they can engage in the service of the Lord. Prabhupada writes in this that if a husband and wife are very much attached to one another in Krishna consciousness, they will both benefit because Krishna is the center of their existence. This is the key. It is not that one should not have a loving exchange, not loving relationship. No, one is supposed to have it, but by keeping Krishna in the center. So both can come together, discuss what they can do best for Krishna, so that ultimately one wants to serve. Yeah. The husband wants to serve, the wife wants to serve, and both can serve Krishna because if the object of their pleasure lies in how best we can serve Krishna, then that family will be a harmonious family. And not only that, it is not only happiness. The end goal is very fruitful. What happens at the end? They both advance, and which means they are not no more entangled in the material life and risk themselves or risk ourselves in this cycle of birth and death. Otherwise, if the husband is too much attached to his wife, he becomes a woman in his next life. The woman being overly attached to her husband becomes a man in her next life. We may have heard that, hey, this relationship when we are there, when there is a wedlock, there is this, hey, this relationship may be there for 7 generations. May you and me be together for 7 lifetimes. Yeah, that is nice if we both are devotees, but otherwise, what will happen is then 7 lives or 70 lives doesn't matter. We're just suffering. You suffer, I suffer. It's like a swapping. So this life I am man, next life I am woman. So which means this life let me be superior boss. But remember, we have to remember that next life I will become subordinate, or the vice versa. So instead of that, let's both of us accept that we are subordinate to the Lord's will, and engage in the devotional service, accepting Him as our Purushottam, Supreme Lord, the person, Supreme Person who is Supreme Enjoyer, and serve Him. Then King Puranjan continued thinking, oh, he is thinking, not only that he was very bit anxious. The problem goes further. He then began to think of his past dealings with his wife. He recalled that his wife would not take, I think we covered this, sorry. Then he started getting, how when he was in the state of bewilderment, he was thinking how his wife would give him good counsel, and how she would become aggrieved when he was away from home. So he's appreciating all this, and he's thinking, hey, she's such a great person, and such a great person. Now who will take care of her? So far I am able to manage. Uh, I mean, yesterday I was talking to someone, and who lost her husband, and she was feeling, hey, yeah, though he is very old, but he was like a lion. He was protecting me all time. Mm. Yeah, that's what the husband is always. And then when he is on the deathbed, what will he be thinking? He'll also be thinking, hey, who will be taking care of my wife? Uh, so at the time of death, King Puranjan was thinking of his wife, and this is called polluted consciousness. So Krishna is not saying in Bhagavad Gita, when he was speaking to Arjuna, Arjuna was a grihastha. He was not telling, hey, be absorbed in remembering Subhadra and how you can serve her best. No, he is just reminding, Mamayavamsa Jivaloke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana Manas Yashtendriyani Prakritistani Karshati. So he's saying, mind your mind. What is he was saying, that if we don't take care of our mind, because mind is deciding our goal, and if we don't put our mind on the goal, then what is happening? It is just like people may think that, okay, anyway, there is destiny, anyway, there is fate, anyway, there is it really I am doing something? I am not the doer. It is all God. Whether He gives me good or bad, let Him do. I don't need to do anything. No, Krishna doesn't approve this. He says one should engage actively one's mind. Patanjali Yoga Sutra. One, if he sits still, it doesn't become that he is in a yoga. It doesn't mean that he becomes a yogi because he has sat down. No, he has to actively bring back his mind from all the sense attachment by practicing pratyahara. When one practices pratyahara, then his mind is brought back from the sense enjoyment, and then he is focused. And then, we may think yoga brings a lot of energy, but we have to give also a lot of energy. This is in the first chapter of Patanjali Yoga Sutra, explaining, which means, mind is mana shashtendriyani, the six senses, including mind, play a big role in our life. One struggles very hard with six senses, isn't it? The living entities in this conditioned world, are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with six senses, which include mind. The living entity is, after all, part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, Krishna. In other words, Krishna's constitutional position and the living entity's constitutional position are qualitatively same. The only difference is that the living entity is eternally an atomic particle of the Supreme Spirit. Mamaivamsa Jiva Loka. And Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, it is eternal. In this material world of conditional life, the fragmental portion of the Supreme Lord, the individual soul, is struggling due to his contaminated mind and consciousness. Instead of Krishna consciousness, we have become my consciousness, I consciousness, mine, mama. And that consciousness, yeah, which we are talking here, Puranjani, the intelligence is covered by the material attachment. As part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, one is supposed to think of Krishna, but here we see the king, Puranjan, is thinking of a woman. Such mental absorption of some sense object brings about the living entity's struggle for existence in the material world. Since King Puranjan is thinking of his wife, his struggle for existence in the material world will not be ended by death. We are saying death is the end. No, death is not the end. It depends how we engage our mind. If we engage our mind uh, mm, to engage to work for Krishna in the service of Krishna, then the end result is different. And if we are engaging in the sense object, the end result is different. Thus, the mental absorption in social, political, pseudo-religious, and national and communal consciousness is cause for bondage. So the one struggles, yeah, when one doesn't have the right mentality. Mentality is coming from what? It doesn't come from hand or nose. Yeah, it comes from mind. Mentality, the mental absorption in so-called social, what is happening in the world, political disturbances, yeah, what is their pseudo-religious and national communal consciousness. So all these causes one to be bound. These are the causes of bondage. And uh, then what is happening? As revealed in the following verses, King Puranjan has to accept the body of woman in the next life due to his being overly absorbed in the thought of his wife. Thus, mental absorption in social, political, pseudo-national, and communal is cause of bondage. During one's life, one has to change his activities. Yagnartha karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. This is what, if we do not change our consciousness in this life, whatever we do in the next, in the name of social, political, and all these things will cause our, will be the cause of our bondage. This means we have to continue in the material conditional life. What to do? That's why, what is Krishna saying? If one doesn't understand that his fragmental part and parcel of the Supreme Lord and engage in the service, what happens? Mana shashtendriyani prakriti sthani karshati. When the mind and senses are engaged in the material activities, one has to continue his material existence and struggle to attain happiness. And the big problem with this, what? Actually, no one in this material world is happy. We are thinking we are happy because we have mitigated some problems and we think, hey, now I'm already happy. Of course, Jiva is not satisfied. That's why we are always still thinking, hey, let us be more happy and more happy because we have not been satisfied with what actually is. It is just like we open a tap and the tap, the water is not coming freely, but it's coming with drop by drop. And sometimes some air is blown because there's some other blockages and all these things. Rather, we expect the happiness to be flowing like nectar. There is no gap. Yeah, just you pour and everything is flowing like properly. So, yeah, in the material world, people do not know what is real happiness. Sukham, atyantikam, yat tad buddhi, grahyam, atindriyam. So, real happiness must be appreciated by one's transcendental senses. Transcend. We are trying to enjoy happiness through material senses, and we are just thinking, hey, why the happiness is only limited? Why the happiness is not flowing? Why the happiness is. No, this is the business of spiritual senses, transcendental senses. Unless one is purified, the transcendental senses are not manifest. Therefore, to purify senses, one must take to Krishna consciousness and engage the senses in the service of the Lord. Then there will be real happiness and liberation. Krishna is saying, Sariram yad avapnoti, yad chapi utkrama tiswaraha grita vaitani samyati vayur gandhan ivapsayat. This is just like the fragrance of the flower is carried away by the wind. What is happening? The living entity in the material world carries his different conceptions of life from one body to another as the air carries aromas. If the wind passes over a garden of roses, it will carry the aroma of roses. If it passes over a filthy place, it will carry the stench of obnoxious things. Similarly, King Puranjan, the living entity, now passes the air of his life over his wife, a woman. Therefore, he has to accept the body of a woman in his next life. So it is not a story. It's not just, fictitious. It's not just speculation. This is based on the Shastras. Hmm. Katam no Daraka Dina. What is King Puranjan is saying? He is worrying. After I pass from this world, how will my sons and daughters who are now fully dependent on me live and continue their lives? Their position will be similar to that of a passenger aboard a ship wrecked in the midst of the ocean. So this is what is worrying every moment. Yeah? That's why we take so many insurances. That's why we take so many assurances. That's why we try to arrange so many things so that may my family, even if after I leave, may everything go smoothly. This, but the cause of it is worrying, worry. And what is the cause of worrying? It is attachment. This attachment leads to what? Transmigration accordingly. If one is attached to Krishna, one goes to Krishna lok. Yeah, Krishna himself is saying, if one is attached to the yeah household business, then he gets again an opportunity to engage in the same business. At the time of death, every living entity worries about what will happen to his wife and children. Similarly, a politician also worries. This is what is happening. A husband is thinking about his family, what will happen. A politician is thinking about nation or his own party. So, and then what happens? Hmm. Then similarly, a politician, a so-called nationalist who is in or ordinately attached to land of his birth, will certainly be reborn in the same land after ending his political career. One's next life will be affected by the act one performs during this life. Sometimes politicians act most sinfully for their own sense gratification. It is not unusual for a politician to kill the opposing party. Even though a politician may be allowed to take birth in so-called homeland, he still has to undergo suffering due to his sinful activities in his previous life. Since Puranjan is thinking of his wife and children and is overly engrossed in thoughts of his wife, he will accept the body of woman. So this attachment is taking us transmigration to a suitable body accordingly. So, and what about the scientists? Now, scientists, the science of transmigration is completely unknown to modern scientists, because we don't accept this as the real science. So-called scientists do not like to bother with these things, because if they would at all consider this subtle subject matter and the problems of life, they will see that their future is very dark, isn't it? That's why let us be experts in sending rockets to any planet, because I understood matter. I know how to launch a rocket. I know how to, yeah, build big skyscrapers in no time. I know all these things. Let me show my greatness by making more and more advancement in this. But when the questions are about who are you, where have you come from, what are you made of, all these things, yeah, I'm looking into it. I can give my own um, um, hypothesis based on some assumptions, and someone next generation is there anyway. They are more smarter. They will prove it. Thus they try to avoid considering the future and continue committing all kinds of sinful activities in the name of social, political, and national necessities. And then this is what happens. This worries because of attachment. What does it do? It causes great lamentation. So King Puranjan is now evam uh, kripanaya buddhya. So now what is happening? When we are worried, then what is happening? This is because of not understanding our own position. And when we don't understand ourselves, then we have messed up our understanding with relationships. And then here King Puranjan, although King Puranjan should not have lamented over the fate of his wife and children, this is what Narad Muni is telling. What Narad Muni is telling, one should not lament over the fate of his wife and children. But what happens? The people will think, hey, if one is quite detached, people will say, hey, you're not doing your proper duty properly. In the meantime, Yavan Raj, whose name was fear itself, immediately drew near to arrest him. So this miserly intelligence, what is he saying? Kripanaya buddhyam. This is very, very dangerous. Very dangerous means we are given a facility to think properly, but if we are not doing it, then we are kripanas. Foolish people do not know that every individual soul is responsible for his own actions and reactions. Huh? What does this mean? So, does it mean that I don't have to serve anyone? Huh? No, Prabhupada writes that every individual soul is responsible for his own actions and reactions of life. So, mother's or father's duty or responsibility is to lead the child to proper understanding of life. But what we do is, because we don't know ourselves what is the right way of living, because we ourselves don't know the importance of it, because we are busy in our own understanding of what is happiness of life, where to get it, how to get it, we impose it on our children. Which means you may see a family, what do you call this? Family entrepreneurs. What is it? Yeah, just like, okay, the father is successful businessman, and then he would give it to his son, and the son and son. In that way, there is whole generations are expert in that, and they are only busy in that. The father doesn't pass on, hey, I understood that this is not the real happiness. I'm struggling, but he doesn't show the path of freedom for his children. But he would say, hey, no, how best you can make happiness within this. If you know how to cheat, you need to cheat precisely like this. If you can cheat people better than me, you can enjoy happiness better than me. No, on the other side, there is also what is happening. Yaban Raj, whose name was fear. The fear is also there. It is coming. So then the question comes, what is the role of parents here then? Prabhupada writes that one's responsibility is to lead the child to proper understanding of life. If we are very, very, very serious, if we have real love and care for our children, what should we do? We should not compromise in giving them the right understanding of life. What is that? Athata Brahma Jigyasa, to spark, to fan that spark which is kind very, very dormant, to open it up. Why don't you attend this seminars? Why don't you attend this retreats? Why don't you read this book? Why don't you do these things? Why don't you? So in that way, encourage the child to become more and more devotional, to become more and more understanding oneself, to understanding the dangers of this world, to explain what is the way out. Huh? One second. Sorry. Yeah. So that is the role of the parents. Yeah, a good parent is really serious. It's not just like, okay, by chance they are born. Oh, okay, what to do? But I can't compromise my own happiness. My happiness is everything. In that, if I can get, this is what I remember. I think I also shared that there's a nice class by Swayam Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj in Vrindavan. He opened, of course, the topic is, it goes further, but the opening of the chapter in first 15 minutes, he says how the parents expect happiness through children. Yeah. So, yeah. So, in that way, uh, the child should be careful. One second. So, So yeah, this is the role of the parent. Yeah, one cannot take it easy. It's a serious business, and of course, if one knows it's so serious, one may not even get into this ashram. Yeah, because I hear people come to me and ask, is grihastha not pitfall? Grihastha life means you can't be individual. Grihastha life is that suffering and all. Yeah, so one doesn't want to take responsibility. So to avoid responsibility, one prefers not to get into the grihastha ashram, but one cannot also artificially stay in brahmacharya ashram if he doesn't have detached or free from these sense enjoyment. Um, Sense enjoyment doesn't mean only sex life, though sex life is the big one. There is also wealth, money, what is it called? Wealth, wine, and women. Yeah, so three. So a brahmachari, he is not allowed to work and earn money. Anyway, we can discuss about grihasthas and varnashram lifestyle later. But yeah, so one who gets into grihasthashram, yeah, has to accept the responsibility, and actually through this process one can get closer to Krishna in the process of sacrificing one's own desires uh, for uplifting of the family, children, and all. Yeah. But then what happens now? Okay, I'm a devotee, I'm a devotional grihastha, which means then I'm taking care of my children well. But then what happens is, won't I get this problem like Puranjan at the end of my life to see, hey, what happens to my children, and will I not be lamenting? Uh, Prabhupada also writes, but when the child is grown up, it should be left up to him to execute the duties of life properly. So if we are really serious and careful, then we will give them right character, right environment, right facilities, everything when they are shaping up. After they are grown up, then it is they who have to take it serious. Just like how we are trying to be serious, they also have to take up the responsibility. So there, it's not like, okay, the pampering can go on forever. The parent after his death cannot help his child, isn't it? We may think, oh, I am trying to, until I'm alive, let me do everything. When a child is grown up, it should be left to him to execute the duties of life properly. The parents after his death cannot help his child. A father may leave some estate for his children's immediate help, but he should not be overly absorbed in thoughts of how his family will survive after his death. This is the disease of the conditioned soul. If one is thinking like that, Prabhupada writes, this is a disease. We are thinking, no, it's a responsibility. It's my responsibility. No, our responsibility is to get out of this material world. That is our responsibility. Let's do our responsibility proper. This is the disease. Not only does he commit sinful activities for his own sense gratification, but he accumulates great wealth to leave behind so that his children may also gorgeously arrange for sense gratification. Poor my child, he doesn't know how to make money. Let me also earn money for him. He doesn't know the value of money. He doesn't know the tricks. Whatever I have learned in last 50 years, let me do everything before I leave. Doesn't help. In any case, everyone is afraid of death. And therefore death is called bhaya. Death. One may be very, very successful materialist, but he is always still, there is sense of fear of death. How it will come, when it will come, why can't I overcome, and all these things. Therefore, death is called bhaya, fear. We can talk also a full topic about fear. I think last Sunday also we were discussing about what is a good fear, what is not. But this fear of death should also help us to understand, to become very serious. Death can come anytime. Death can bring our plans to end anytime. So death doesn't wait for him. Death will carry out its duty. Uh, yeah, we may pamper our children, but death will not pamper us. Saying, okay, I'm going to give you a little more time. Of course, there's a nice story where, anyway, that's again side note info. But yeah, everyone wants. Yeah, if God comes, yeah, everyone asks first thing, oh, make me disease free, old age free. Like I should be like Krishna, ever youthful, enjoy all the time. Yeah, death doesn't wait. Death will carry out its duty. One shouldn't over engage in welfare activities for family, countrymen, society, and community. None of this will help a person to advance spiritually. Although they have the opportunity in the human form of life to make spiritual progress, they remain misers. So thus they use their lives improperly and simply waste them and thinking about the material welfare of their relatives, countrymen, society. One's actual duty is to learn how to conquer death. Hmm? What is that? We don't want to let the mind loose so that it will take to its goal, but we want to use the mind to get to the real goal. What is the real goal? Is to conquer death. How can we conquer? We were thinking, hey, whoever is born, I have seen he's dying, but is there a way out? After all, I have prayed. Hiranyakashipu did that, Ravana did that, so many Rakshasas did that. Always they wanted to be conquer death, but uh, is it really possible? Krishna says, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvataha tyakta deham punarjanma naiti mameti. So Arjuna, he's saying that one who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. After giving up this body, one who is fully Krishna conscious does not accept any material body but return home. Everyone should try to attain this perfection. But what is happening? Unfortunately, instead of doing so, people are absorbed in thoughts of society, family, friends, love, and relatives. This Krishna consciousness movement, however, is educating people throughout the world and informing them how to conquer death. Harim vina namriti taranti. One cannot conquer death without taking shelter of Hari, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So then, when the Yavanas were attacking King Puranjan away to their place, binding him like an animal, the king's followers became greatly aggrieved. While they lamented, they were forced to go along with him. What does this mean? What is there in this allegory? It is that the king followers, who are there, the soul followers. The soul is not going alone. Along with the soul, the life, air, and desires also go with him. Prabhupada writes in the purport, very nice. When Yamaraj and his assistants take a living entity away to the planet of judgment, the life air, and desires, being followers of the living entity, also go with him. This is confirmed in Vedas. In the what is this? In Brihad Upanishad, there is very nice explanation, detailed explanation how the jiva is going. I mean, that itself is will take its own time. But briefly to say, what happens at the end, the subtle body will be wrenched from every limb of the physical body, which means whatever now in this body there is Purna Prana, the life air is present. That's why every limb is nourished, every limb is maintained, grown, and everything. But the time of death, what is happening? All this is coming to the center of the heart, because heart is the place. So all this energy is coming or is going back. The subtle body will be wrenched from every limb of the physical body. At the present, subtle body has become one with the physical body. That's the reason why we are feeling just like the fire getting one with a hot iron ball. We see the fire. Yeah, if it is kept in the fire, then you won't see there is a fireball, iron ball. So that's why we are thinking, hey, when someone is telling there is subtle body, we are thinking, hey, there is only one body. After all, we are even thinking the soul and everything is one thing. If you throw an iron ball into the fire and make it red hot, the two become one, right? So, yeah. So, but at the time of death, what is happening? Everything is coming back. So that what happens is the sensations are also a person loses. That is why if you see, of course, we have not experienced a death, right? We have not only the person who has died. But when we are with that person, we can understand how the body is bending. The body becomes thin. There is various experiences of going up and down in the physical body at the time of death. And yeah, then what is happening is in parallel, the jiva is also getting in looking, yeah, just like how do we do this? After you study in a college, then you are looking for a placement, right? So similarly, what is happening? The jiva is also looking, the pran is also looking for a placement into a suitable body based on the desires. So all this is mentioned in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, and how the prana is moving. But Prabhupada brings a very brief aspect of it here, that when the living entity is taken away or arrested by Yamaraj, tam utkramanantam, the life air also goes with him. Prana uh, anutkramati. So, and when the life or air is gone, pranam anukramantam. So, all the senses and sarva prana also goes along with. Uh, so, this is what happens. Yeah, this is whole um, description, how this body is going into another body is mentioned in the Vedas. In the, for example, this Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, which is mentioning that one should be very careful. The soul, uh, after death, of unrealized, a realized, self-realized person, it goes, as Krishna is saying, it goes back to him. Uh, and there is no doubt about it. But what happens to person who is not interested in Krishna? Uh, then what happens is that all the energies get centered in the heart, and their brain also stops functioning. There is no thinking facility at all. And as part of this, what is happening? Uh, as part of this, when the system is broken, then we will not understand what is happening. They may be having just time of exit. There is some slowly breathing. Yeah, breathing also is getting slow. It's not so heavy, not deep, and not full filling the uh, body. Uh, and then what is happening is that eye withdraws itself. There is every organ of the body is slowly withdrawing the capacity, the energy, the life that was there in that organ is slowly coming down. That's why when we go and approach yeah, a person who is on deathbed living, sometimes they may say, hey, I can't see anything. I can't see anything. Yeah, you may say, hey, everything is here, nothing is changed. Until now you were seeing everything. What happened now? The every department, yeah, is becoming yeah, you know what we call this, resigning from its activities, engagement. So Eka Bhavati, it becomes one with the center. That is why this is happening. The eye, the sense first that's affected is eye. Then particular function is stopped. We can't see properly. Then what happens? The smell function goes off. After the smelling function goes off, then the taste goes off. So even if he eats sugar, which is sweet, but his taste is no more there. Uh, and so his capacity to speak is also gone. We may think, hey, at that last moment, I can tell, can you please do that? Can you do this? That facility also withdraws. And after that, when the Agni Tattva is gone, he cannot, and then later he, yeah, it is said also, I don't know if you have heard elsewhere, he said that in the end stage, yeah, the last organ that fails is actually hearing capacity. That's why it's said the importance of hearing is so important, that Lord is, yeah, giving us an opportunity even at the last moment if we can hear properly. But then when one, yeah, all the senses are withdrawing and the hearing withdraws. When the hearing is withdrawn, then thinking senses are withdrawn. And when thinking is gone, he cannot understand what is happening. Yeah, we may think, hey, the person is just in front of us. We may be very excited what is going to happen now, all these things. But what happens after, when all these energies are gathered, they gather into the heart. And then from this heart, it goes to a different body. It goes in the form of a very, very faint light, or very like a small flame which we may not be able to see, or some people may see. It depends on their abilities, capacities. Then depending on how this life air or this is going, it is also said where is the destination. If it goes down, if this is going from the eye, then this means then he is going to reach the sun planet. So in that way, and if the goes from the Randhra, what is this? Brahmarandhra, I think. What is it? Um, yes. Yeah. So, and crown of the head, right? Swadhisthana. From there, when this goes, then it said that one goes to Brahmalok. Uh, if it passes through the eye, he goes to sun, and so on, so forth. It is said, and it is also said how this movement can not only be horizontal, vertical, it can also go horizontal, and then this, or even downward. Then it is supposed that one is going to lower planets. So in that way, when the center of consciousness, which is in the form of this light, it rushes out of the body, the prana goes with it. But now, how does it go is also explained. I mean, I'll take a little time and then maybe we close it here. It can also help us, just like a caterpillar. We know a caterpillar, how does it go? It first puts all its weight on the back part of it, then slowly lifts up and then goes front. And then once it is stable, then it lifts its back part and then moves. In that way, it moves. Similarly, the jiva is also not just going immediately after this death, but even before leaving, all this process is going on, where based on his desires, uh, he is also he is also carrying not only this air, but it is said that he can carry Vigyan. What is that Vigyan? It is not Gyan, it is Vigyan. Vigyan means the realized knowledge or wisdom. It is not that whatever we have read, whatever are in our libraries, whatever we have seen, no, this is not going to come with us. But it is that which we have realized, which we have digested, which we have applied, which we want to apply, which we are absorbed in it. And this is what is we. It is not that what is pushed to us, which it is that what voluntarily we are taking that will come with us. So in that way, this intellect, Vigyan, slowly stirs into action when there is a possibility of fresh materialization. Now, yeah, this body is no more fit. Now I'm getting again a new body. Let me see what is the best bargain I can make from, the worst deal that I can make in the material world. So the intellect is doing that business, and it's preparing for our new body. When there is such a departure of the individual, something must be going with the individual. And what is that? It is this Vigyan that is going. Uh, uh, it is not that whatever we have acquired, it is not that what we goes with is this form is called Apurva. And this Apurva comes with the soul. And the impressions which have been accumulated by samskaras, accumulated by mind, by various thoughts or perception, cognizant, etc., or vasanas or sanskaras, these are they accompany the departing individual. So it is the whole psychic essence or psychic that goes along. That's what we call subtle body, in simple terms. But what is left? What is left is the material body, the gross body. The gross body is left because, it can't go, because it doesn't fit there. Just like you want to put a CD in a CD player, not a stick. It doesn't do anything. So the stick is dropped here. And interestingly, both the CD as well as the stick, both are matter. So similarly, the body that we are going to get, even if we go to Brahmalok, the body what we get is still a material body. Even if we go to the lower planets, even if you go to Pitralok, all wherever it is, still there is a material body. The only thing is the material body, the material elements might be refined. The example given here is a steel glass and a steel pot and a glass pot. Yeah, we may see this glass pot is very transparent. You can see inside and outside. Uh, yeah, it looks more refined, fine. Whereas this steel pot, yeah, you can't see something inside earthen pot. So in that way, the material still are there. Yeah, it is still the matter. Similarly, the body of a Gandharva can be that his body is very subtle. That's why he's light, he's shining, but still he has a body. So in that way, yeah, the body, yeah, just like this caterpillar is going from one uh, by putting itself so slowly when all these things are convinced, or once you get a contract, right, then you go to a place to work. So once you get this confirmation that this is the body that is where you will be going based on your desires, based on your psychic, based on what you want, what you can, what you have done, all these things together is what goes further. There is and this is what is happening. And then, yeah, so one is moving out. But this is not visible. This is not visible mm, to the third person. Yeah. Even to the extent even one himself. Yeah, though we are saying intellect is there, but this intellect is not able to see, hey, now I should make a right decision. After all, my intelligence is uncovered. That's why no, the intelligent is again covered by the psyche. And again, in the new body, it is the intellect that is going first, and then slowly, this material body is developed, and to this material body, this intelligence, and again this pran, whatever the energies, all these energies go from the intellect to the mind to the sense organs, and then yeah, he's again engaging, just like just like a goldsmith. A goldsmith is not creating gold, but what he does, he gets some piece of gold here, some nuggets from there, and then he will make everything together and he builds a gold ornament. Similarly, this intellect is looking what is that's required for this psyche, and then accordingly a body is arranged, and then he uses the body. Just like a carpenter can use the wood for making a chair, a table, or anything. So anyway, I think we are getting more detailed into this, but the aspect here is, yeah, there is this subtle senses, material senses. The material senses are given up, yeah, and yeah, all the senses also go along. When the living entity and the life air are gone, the lump of matter produced of 5 elements is rejected and left behind. The living entity then goes to the court of judgment. The Yamaraj decides what kind of body he is going to get next. Uh, this process is unknown to modern scientists. Every living entity is responsible for his activities in this life, and after death, he takes to the court of Yamaraj, where it is decided what kind of body he will take again next. Although the gross body is left, the living entity and his desires, as well as the resultant reactions of his past activities, go on. It is Yamaraj who decides what kind of body one gets next in accordance with one's past actions. It is not just psychic, it's also that he is eligible or not, then accordingly he is given. The serpents, who had already been arrested by the soldiers of Yamaraj and was out of the city, began to follow his master along with others. So as soon as they all left the city, it was immediately dismantled and smashed to dust. What happens to this metal body? Yeah, no one is interested. Yeah, no one is interested. Because this matter, it's not made of gold, where we are thinking, oh, it's so precious. Yeah, in the end, it comes from dust, it goes back to the dust. Prabhupada, of course, elaborates further. When King Puranjan was being dragged with great force by the powerful Yavana, out of his gross ignorance, he still could not remember his friend and well-wisher, the super soul. This is very, very important. This is what is happening. We are Whenever we are suffering, we are remembering, how can the suffering go? How? I have earned so much money. Let me go to hospital. I have earned so much money. Let me go to the lawyer. I have earned so much money. Let me go to scientist. Let them solve my problem. I'm really hoping, but we are not turning to Krishna. We are not turning to the soul. So Krishna is saying, Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Sahrada Sarvabhutanam Gnatma Shantiruchati. The peace comes not from those sources, but actually Krishna. Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Hriddeshe Arjuna Tishtati. The Lord is residing in our heart as a super soul, and He can solve our problem. But we are trying to solve ourselves, we are trying to seek support from others, and it is not going to solve. The word Sakhaya, friend, is very significant in this verse because God is eternally present beside the living entity as a friend. So, unfortunately, due to our bad association and great attachment for sense gratification, we do not remember our best friend, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then what is happening? That most unkind King Puranjan had killed many animals in various sacrifices. Now, taking advantage of this opportunity, all these animals began to pierce him with their horns. What is law of karma? Hmm? Karma Mimamsa means if we have ate meat, mamsa, then those will again attack and eat our mamsa or meat. Those who are very enthusiastic about killing animals in the name of religion or for food must await similar punishment after death. The word mamsa means meat, indicates that those animals whom we kill will be given an opportunity to kill us. Although, of course, people may say, what is it called? No, Kali, this is Prashadam, because offered to goddess. Uh, or one may say this is halal, the best way of making meat. Uh, Halal also says that, you are looking into the eyes of the animal and saying that, I'm killing you in this life, next life you can kill me, and then you kill. That is halal. But people, anyway, so in that way, one may, out of attachment, can give any reason. But the fact is fact. Although in actuality no living entity is killed, the pain of being pierced by the horns of animals will be experienced after death. Not knowing these rascals unhesitatingly go on killing poor animals. So-called human civilization has opened many slaughterhouses for animals in the name of religion or food. Those who are little religious kill animals in temples, mosques, or synagogues, and those who are more fallen maintain various slaughterhouses. Just as in civilized human society, the law is a life for a life. No living entity can encroach upon another living entity as far as the Supreme Lord is concerned. Everyone should be given freedom to live at the cost of Supreme Father, and animal killing, either for religion or for food, is always condemned. So, that is a serious business. We cannot mess up our life. This is a very rare opportunity, and then we don't want to risk, we don't want to damage, we don't want to cause our future disasters. We have to be very careful. Ananta pare tamasi magno nashta smriti sama saswatir anubhavartim pramada sanga dushita. Due to his contaminated association with women, a living entity like King Puranjan eternally suffers all the pangs of material existence and remain in the dark region of material life, bereft of all remembrance for many, many years. So this is such a rare opportunity, and we don't want. Anadi karame phale padi भवानव जले तरिभारे न देखी उपाय ये विषय हला हले this is a kind of poison दिवा निशि किया ज्वले mana kabhu sukh nahi paya. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is writing, because of my past fruitive activities, I have now fallen into an ocean of nescience. I cannot find any means to get out of this great ocean, which is indeed like an ocean of poison. We are trying to be happy through sense enjoyment, but actually, that so called enjoyment is like food that is too hot and causes burning in the heart. I feel a burning sensation constantly day and night, and thus my mind cannot find satisfaction. The word pramada sangha dushita indicates that apart from all contamination, if one simply remains attached to woman, that single contamination will be sufficient to prolong one's miserable material existence. Consequently, in Vedic civilization, one is trained from the beginning to give up the attachment for women. The first stage of life is brahmachari, and second is grihastha, the third is vanaprastha, the fourth is sannyas. All these stages are devised to enable one to detach himself from the association of women. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. I hope I was audible. How was that? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yeah, it was good.
Any thoughts that anyone want to share? Question? Personally, Mataji is there or Dinath Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes,
Yeah.
Prabhuji, I think King Puranjana's chapter, entire Bhagavatam description it easily correlates to our material world. I mean, however we are, how we are stuck in this vicious circle of, all material life miseries. So I think Bhagavatam, which was written several thousand years ago, easily explains us the pitfalls and how do we overcome it. So I think Srila Prabhupada has translated this, and which is, I think this easily, anybody can understand this. Every layman, if they can listen to it with bit of concentration, can easily understand, the overall context.
Yeah, very well said. Yeah, if we just spend time with our own self, yeah, then we can see. And Prabhupada purports also give more deeper. Yeah, we may, if we would read it as only the translations, we may take it a little easy. You think, hey, anyway, it's a fact. What can we do? No, yeah. There, Prabhupada fills in with, what can we do is actually turn to Krishna, turn to our super soul. Yeah. Yeah, otherwise we may take it like a too easy. Yeah, this is what happens in the next chapter. Of course, I hope we can finish that this year. In the next chapter also, there's further again. Puranjana say, hey, what have you said? I didn't understand. Can you say again? He also here, right? So how is it going? It depends. Nice to see you, Gaurav Bhagavan Prabhu. How are you?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. We are hearing these wonderful the story of Puranjana, and we can correlate, as Prabhuji said, where we are struck.
Yeah, the one challenge we always have this, what is the balance? What is the balance? Am I doing too much? Am I doing too less? What to do? Yeah, nice.
Prabhuji,
Yes,
one thing I had in my mind about the bodies, that in all other planetary systems also the bodies are Panch Mahabhut body, or
yeah,
there
but
is
because
no needed.
it is also because we can see how this whole material creation is having these different layers which are thicker and thinner, right? So this is what we can see from Aranyaka Upanishad, also clearly mentioning what is this made and how a body, when it goes vertically up or down, it is still the material body.
So, Prabhuji, for
It's only more
example,
refined.
the sun is said on sun planet, the fiery body is there, but like this Gandharvas or Yakshas,
They also have the body which is very light and shining because of it is still the same elements, but because other elements are not there, just like when there is you see a very colorful shirt, right? All colors are there. Then you see it looks something when there are no colors on it. Yeah.
so
Or
still
yeah.
it is
So it
material, but
depends. Yeah.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Mataji?
Hare Krishna, Sudama Prabhu, first of all, thank you so much for a very enlightening talk. And I have a question.
Mhm.
In the verse 23, there was this that after death the life air and senses go along. Yeah. So this life air, is it the pancha pran? Like, is this the
Yes.
same?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
same
The
one.
vital forces, the five prana, apana, udana, samana, vyana.
Okay. And so it means if, for example, I misuse this, if I have imbalance in this lifetime, like due to also material, so next life I have like a weaker body if I don't properly.
No, you are forced to take your luggage, right? So just like yeah, you can't travel with a suitcase elsewhere, right? You have to carry your suitcase wherever you're flying. Otherwise, the police will come and say, hey, no, no, take your baggage with you. You can't leave it unattended. So this is also what we have accumulated. Yeah, it is not that the strength of these airs are impacted, yeah, but it is actually that these are coming with you. The
Okay.
five elements will come with you. The five living air will come with you. Life air.
And thank you so much. And the senses, they go along. How can I understand that?
There is this. They are called in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam first canto, there is a whole description about the senses, sense organs, sense objects, and everything. And there is also predominators of the senses who are giving you the power to enjoy the sense or work. The senses will work, which means if someone has an eye, doesn't mean that he can see. The power of that is what we call transcendental sense. Yeah. So it is that sense is there which will go to the next body. For example, for eye.
And if it's not purified, it's still then, how to say, it's
Yeah, it
the
gets
contamination
accordingly.
I'm bringing further into.
Yeah. What you want to say is that we are not talking about physical contamination, we are talking about psychic contamination. That psychic contamination will decide what body you will get.
Yes, this I understood. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Mother. Any other thoughts, questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
I have a small question. So, yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to understand. It's very natural to us that we provide for our family, and so you also gave us example of these insurances and all. But to some extent, it will be our responsibility also, Prabhuji, to provide for them. And I mean, if I have children, it will be natural for me to think that they shall have a comfortable life. And yeah, it's my responsibility to instill some devotion into their life, and also to follow that. Also, I would like them to have a home for, let's say, if I take a home now, I would like them to have it and follow devotion. And even to me, if it gives peace that they have everything they need, then I can also be following devotional peacefully. So at what point can we draw a line that we are not overdoing it and
Yeah.
it's correct?
Yeah, we should be very
So that,
careful to draw this line, because yeah, sometimes we are dictated by our senses rather than our intellect. Right? So sometimes then we may start looking, hey, why an ordinary house? Let me have a duplex house. Why not just a normal car? I would like to have a car that not just yeah serves my needs, but also maybe attracts name, fame. Yeah, there are also these anarthas, right? That is kind of manipulating our earnest desire of serving our family, right? If we really want to serve our family, the best way is to make them devotees. Hmm. For that, whatever is needed, when we need a house, of course we need a house, right? Where are we going to stay? Yeah, then we know what kind of house we should take and understand that Krishna, this is your house, I'm just staying there. So we have to be careful how we um, saving ourselves and saving our family. Yeah. Responsibility means we take it serious, right? As you also are asking, because you want to be very serious in your business of taking care of the family. Hmm. Yeah, that's why when we develop proper qualities, then we know, okay, this is undesirable, unwanted desires. Then right from beginning, then you are setting up things very modestly. Yeah. Um, Rather than having great plans. Yeah, you may think, hey, no, I mean, the question, as you said, right now I don't have a kid, but what if I have a kid? Let me already, look for him. Yeah, because when he comes, he should not be in inconvenience. Right? Right?
yes, Prabhuji.
In Bombay, we can see so many people who are living in one room flat. Not one kid, two kids, three kids. You may think, hey, no, they are not having all the necessary privileges. Yeah, but if he is able to become devotee and if he is able to serve, is that better than, or rather having each room for each kid, and then the child becomes more, what, unaccommodating, mm, not service oriented, not understanding others. What is better?
Again, it will be relative, na, Prabhuji, that I mean, for
Yeah, it is
some
relative,
people,
but the
staying
principle
in
is,
one room,
yeah,
it's
it
difficult.
is
I mean, for
relative.
all.
Yeah, it is relative, but the principle is still the same. What we should give, are we giving that? Hmm?
Yes, Prabhuji.
But if we miss that, and if you give everything, what is the use? And the question may come, hey, why not we have both? Yeah, now we are taking a risk. How careful are we that we are consciously avoiding the pitfalls? If we can
Yes,
manage
Prabhuji.
it,
That I agree. Yes.
if we can manage it, why not? Yeah, then you can have a nice villa. But if we think that no, it's not good for me, not good for my family, then we see what is best. And of course, this is only an example. As you were giving this example, I was just saying that, in every decision we should be careful that necessities, material necessities, we should be very careful. The mind will always make us do more and demand more. That is its nature. So we have to be smart. We have to be careful. How can we be smart? How can we be careful? By taking shelter of Bhagavatam, by taking the the wisdom of Bhagavad Gita. Rather, we listen to N people around us. The N people will tell how to make us more materially successful, right? They can give us nice tips how you can make a great money. They can give us how you can have a very happy house. Yeah, definitely, because they have mastered in that field. They know how to exclusively pick what is the best for you, how to lead a very happy life, the best happy life in the material world. Yeah, you can, but the more you become more then attached, the more you will mm, be not serious in spiritual, which is actually the main goal.
Yes, Prabhuji. The point was, I mean, at some, so when I achieve some of this, I can be peaceful that this is enough and I can follow my
Yeah.
own.
If you are
So
peaceful,
that's,
If you are
by
peaceful, do it.
providing.
But yeah, a drunkard will always think that, yeah, perfect. Yeah, I'm not, if you tell me tomorrow, I will give up. For me, no problem.
Yes, yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, but he's already addicted to it. A person always thinks he's great, he has complete control, but yeah, we know how much control does alcoholic have.
Yes, Prabhu. Agreed. Yeah.
The more we go into that, the more we get conditioned. The more we get conditioned, the less we can free up ourselves. Rather, if we can already lead a simple life from beginning, or the suitable lifestyle from beginning, then we less risk ourselves less. Rather, we think,
Yes.
no, I am exceptional. I can exceptionally handle it. Let me try. I think I can do both things very perfectly. I can live a very perfect materialistic life. At the same time, I can also become very spiritual. No, it's not possible. These are of two different natures. On one side, we are trying to understand what is the detached life, because these attachments are causing suffering. And on the other side, we want to see that materialist is saying, hey, I don't think anything else, everything is here. So we may think, no, let's do a compromise. Let's have two lifestyles. That will not bring us anything. We will be left in the middle. Neither we will be successful that side or this side. I mean, I don't know. I'm just extending this topic, but I don't know if it answered or you have any further question.
Yes, Rosie, it answered. Thank you.
Other questions? Or Parminder Mataji, Tirmal Mataji, I don't know. Is it you or Komal Prabhu? Or both, I don't know. Or no one, I don't know. This virtual forum is like that.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here, Prabhuji. Yeah, it was a nice class, and yeah, um, can you please discuss more about addiction to anything, like if if I see something, like for example, I'm telling Prabhuji, if we see something we want, like um, we uh, we feel that we should have that, we should have, like we should give this to our children, we should see our children like this. So could you please explain more about addiction, or yeah.
Power up my laptop. Can you hear me?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
You can hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So your question is how to deal with addiction.
Yes,
Am I right?
Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, so we have to handle it with the right knowledge, with right discipline, consistent, and then we can mitigate the consequences of it. I mean, the question itself has so many dimensions as well as so many tips. Very briefly, I can say is, when we know what is the consequences of engaging in addiction, when we know the value of maintaining discipline, maintaining it, that we know what would happen, why we should not be addicted, and continuously or regularly get a support, then one can overcome that. I can give plenty of examples. Yeah, so so many are in the Western world. Yeah, Prabhupada, when he went to the US, we can see that they didn't had Vedic way of living, which means they are not addicted to Vedic living, but they were addicted to so many. Even we are addicted to so many. But what we do is, when we take up to Krishna consciousness, we regularly hear. When we are hearing, because the mind is constantly getting what is the worth of giving up such addiction, whether it is meat eating, whether it is intoxication or anything, gambling or illicit sex. So many, we understand what are the consequences of it through examples, through seniors who are explaining that. Then we understand, oh, yeah, this is one thing. But the second thing is, because one is engaging in spiritual activity activities like serving, then a time comes where one doesn't have any taste for it because he becomes busy with spiritual services. When he becomes too much busy with spiritual services, there is no time for all these things. Then we think, hey, after all, I'm surviving. After all, I have no problems. So then he will give up such addiction. So this is one quick, uh, yeah, thought that came to my mind. But there are also other ways how one can look into how to overcome addiction. Yeah. Addiction, for example, can be anger. Addiction can be so many, all what is not wanted, unwanted things. And if we are attached to it, it's addiction. Yep.
Okay, yeah, Prabhuji. Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay. And last question, otherwise we can close. Okay, then thank you very much. Yeah. Who is that?
Madhuri Mataji.
Yes.
I have a question. Can I ask you?
Yeah. Yeah, let's see if it's quick. Otherwise, maybe we can. Yeah.
Yes, it's a very small question. If someone offers you like a prashadam, but it's like a meat or something that we don't eat, or if it is prepared by some family that they eat meat, but the prashadam is not meat, do we accept it? Because they say like it is prashadam offered to God.
So
The
first, if meat is
part
offered to
was
God,
like
yeah.
it was asked by a Muslim people, this what they I don't know too much in detail what is this Bakrid and all, but I came to one situation where they told me this is a in my language I understood it's a prashadam. So when they say like this, because they say it's a prashadam, do we accept it or like?
Yeah, very interesting question. First of all, yeah, I think when we were reading this, I think it came, we were reading the last Bhagavad Sapta in December. We came across this pastime where Bharat Maharaj, yeah, when he became this, then in next life he became Rahugana, and then they were taking him to kill him and offer it to Kalima. You remember? I don't know.
Yes, Prabhuji.
You attended, right? Clearly or not, Narad Muni, yeah, clearly mentions that that is not approved. Even Kalima will not approve killing of animals. One has to suffer it. So, which means Kalima is not interested in taking bali of animals or, or once. It is only that, yeah, there is also this tamasic Puranas which are emphasized, okay, one can do it,
Prabhuji, your
and
voice
they
is
do it.
breaking.
What will happen to get name? People kill. And yeah, I came. Is it better now? Hello.
It's breaking, Prabhuji.
Is it better now? Is it still breaking?
Maybe we can continue now, Prabhuji.
I'm just trying now. Is it better now?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, let me try. The question is about two things. One is about meat eating. Can meat eating be approved? Yeah. So first of all,
You're not audible, Prabhuji.
have ate and all these things. Yeah. So you can't hear me?
Now we can hear you. Before we couldn't hear you.
Okay. I'll quickly repeat. Sorry, it's taking a little time. But what I want to say is that people who are referring scriptures and they say, okay, killing animals is approved. I have a nice document. I'll provide that which gives that first of all it is not authorized. It's not approved. But even if that, let's say, okay, that is understood like that and it is accepted, still, with the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam reference I was giving, that so Kali Ma also doesn't approve killing, because she comes herself and then she will kill all the miscreants who come. Yeah. So it's maybe in Kali Yuga we are yet to see, or we are seeing already in mass ways, how animal killing, how people are being also killed. Maybe not that Kali Ma is coming with a big sword and she's chopping everyone. No, we see in different way. So that is effect. Now people out of taste or out of habit or whatever, if they still say, hey, meat eating is approved because this is that is this, even if they eat, what is happening? What is happening is that they are accumulating more sin, and they will suffer, maybe not in this life or even in this life. That goes. And if someone is offering you prasad, which is meat, forget about meat. Even if one is making onion garlic prasadam, if you see, we don't offer it to the temple, in the temple. Not only in ISKCON, it's not an ISKCON standard, but if you see typically any temples, usually onion garlic is not offered to the Lord. So what should we do when that is given? We just say, no, sorry, we don't take it. First thing. And then what about the next question is, okay, if such offering, though it's a vegetarian, it is cooked in the vessels which are made out, which were used for meat. Srila Prabhupada, when he went to Puri and when he came to know that his aunt and uncle were, were cooking fish, then Prabhupada simply left and he said he'll not eat. So and now question comes, okay, can we so boldly say someone, hey, no, I am not going to eat, because you are a meat eater, because you are meat eater or non-vegetarian cooked in these things. Better what we can do is, simple first approach would be that because prasadam is consciousness. Of course, if it is offered to the Lord, then it becomes karma-free food. That's fine. And now, what about the vessels? The vessels. This is something we can't influence, right? So, what we can do is that try to see, maybe we can take some fruits, maybe some salads, something which are ways of how we can still honor. And sometimes, we may think, okay, what to do? The important thing is that, okay, appreciate what little they are doing. If Krishna is there, Krishna is saying, okay, yes, or she has done with pure heart. And then if he accepts, do we have problem? So we have to be a little careful. Yep.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Okay, let's then close the call here. Thank you very much, and see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, as part of the systematic study of Vedic scriptures, right, in Bhagavad Gita, I was thinking maybe we could have this fault finding further, maybe understand it further. And please join. If you have friends, family who are interested, most welcome to join that. Thank you very much. Vancha kalpatarabhyasya kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Prabhupada ki jai, Grantha Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.